Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the game today with Claret and Malcolm. He is Claret, I am Malcolm. We are so happy to see you once again. Thank you for joining us again for our latest edition. Guys, it's been a long time, but not so long, clearly, because we are back in a bang. And before we start, don't forget to like, to subscribe, to follow, to share, to comment, and continue supporting us. Thank you for again liking the game today, for liking basketball, for liking the NBA. Who better analysts to bring you the game than Claret and Malcolm? So Claret, how are you doing this night or morning?
Well, however you put it, it's a good day. I can't complain. You're able to hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's morning. Depends on how you look at it. I still think it's night, as long as I can't see the daylight. It's still night. So, yeah. But without getting into any other
Yeah, there's only
anything,
one place to start.
the NBA is very
It's
it's in a
getting
place right
interesting.
now where everything is at stake. Every game means a lot to every team, apart from the first three teams in all conferences for sure. And when you look at the rest of the teams that are not in the top three, they are all putting together change and stuff to go to the subway. Literally, like everybody's in the line and trying to go to get that subway before they hit the closing time. And today we had two matchups from the Eastern Conference that are and really it's the West that is a little a little like very different, very packed. So we will focus more on that because there is so much separation in the East that we don't really have to talk
Yeah,
about.
I mean, you look at the East. I mean, the Cavs are like 6.5 games ahead of the Celtics, the second seed. The Celtics are like 5 games ahead of the Knicks. The Knicks are like 4.5 games away from the Bucks. The Bucks are like 4 games away from the Pacers and the Magic. So it's really, really spaced out. But the West
Yeah,
is just the Thunder, 12 games, and then from number two up to number eight, like it's crazy. It's crazy packed, depending on relatively what your position is, obviously. But we'll get into it because the Rockets actually are now 2 games ahead of the third seed and onwards. So they've had a 9 game winning streak. So they're kind of pulling away to the second seed. They're kind of pulling away, which is actually what I'm hoping for because, like I told you yesterday, I don't mind if Rockets end second seed, but we need to end third for us to not play against Denver or OKC. But we'll get into this whole playoff matchups. There is only one place to start, guys. The Lakers lost. The Lakers were blown out by the Chicago Bulls today, and I have a lot of talking points. Talking points. Did you watch it again?
yes, I did. Yes, I did
All of it?
until they were blown out, and I was like, there is no need. Like the last 8 minutes was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, damn. First of all, I have a couple of points. The first
I'm a,
point.
I'm a, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy.
Before,
I'm not gonna say anything. I will let you, boy. I'm not gonna say anything.
before, before, before I get into what the Lakers, how they annoy me, let me first talk about the Bulls. The Bulls are never going to have a career night shooting like this. Like this is, I don't know. This is prime shooting from downtown, and I think they shot 58.3% from the field and 46.3% from the 3 point line. Everyone pretty much shot their career highs, like career high, career high, career high. You look at what's his name? This is Cody White. He was absolutely amazing today. You look at Josh Giddey. He was absolutely amazing. In fact, he was two steals away from having a quadruple double. Double digit figures in steals, assists, rebounds, and points. Everyone was really, really good. And then Dalen Terry came off the bench. Patrick Williams came off the bench. Zach Collins came off the bench. They were absolutely. I mean, Matas Bazelis. I didn't even know him. 66% from
What
the
about
field. What? Who?
Puzeles?
Buzelis, I didn't even know him. 66% from the field.
He was like the number one pick, bro. Anyways, I'm not gonna
Yeah, that's
say.
the thing. No one really knows the number of picks. That's the problem. The March Madness and like the college basketball is really being For the past years, it's been women more that have been coming out, with the hype. It's not really the men. Anyways, we'll get into that later. But
Keep going.
Okay, yeah, Bozell is 66% from the field. Forget about the points. Kobe White, 70%, 71% from the field. Think about it, like these guys are never going to have. Patrick Williams, 62% from the field. How many 3-pointers did they shoot? They shot 41. They shot 41 3-pointers and they made 19 of them. They pretty much had a 50% like 3-point shooting. I mean, from the Chicago Bulls standpoint, you're never going to shoot a game like this. And the good thing about the NBA is that there's always another game, right? It's like there's always a series. Like for example, in playoffs there's series, so you can lose one game. No one is going to sweep another team unless it's like OKC versus like I don't know Utah Jazz. You're not gonna sweep another good team. But the Chicago Bulls are not a good team. They're in the Eastern Conference first of all, and I think they're like the 8th seed, so they're not really a good team. So coming off the Lakers, like coming off our big players who came back, and I'll get into Lakers. But we all thought Lakers is going to win, not only win, but to blow out these Chicago Bulls, But the fact that he said it was the reverse, I mean, it was crazy. You're never going to have another night like this at a Chicago Bulls standpoint. We are going to play them next Thursday as another back-to-back on Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to beat them then. But now, I'm not worried because we lost to Bulls. It's not really because Bulls are never going to have the shooting night ever again. This was like prime Celtics, like last year. Like prime Celtics, they just go out and then shoot the threes. Go out, shoot the threes. So
things are boiling inside me right
they
now.
They shot a lot of threes. They give the Chicago Bulls credit. They deserve the win. They deserve to blow us out. But I mean, you're not going to shoot this. I mean, in any other game. Like this was a career night shooting for everybody. Like this was crazy. And now when you combine other factors that I'm going to speak about later, go on.
Malcolm, this is where it become everybody else, and you become Stephen A. Smith, who has recently been reversing things that he'd been able to say before. Right, Malcolm, you've come here on this pod non-stop, onto the teams that are underperforming than what they're supposed to be doing, and you've been on them. But right now, today, you come onto the Bulls and you call them a fluke night. Recently, we had Russell Westbrook beat the Warriors single-handedly, shooting threes. And you called it a Warriors problem.
Yeah, that was Warriors. There's a difference.
Be like that simply because Russell Westbrook is not gonna shoot like that every night.
But he can drop it in assists every night. He can drop. He always drop. He was
here, and you start saying that the Bulls, they just shot from heaven. Oh
yes, they did. They did. You're never gonna, especially with what the Lakers did tonight. We're not going to beat any team. The way the Bulls play today, they're not going to have this type of shooting night ever again in their life. Like they'll never, because everyone is pretty much 100% from the field.
But you can't blame the Lakers, can you now? Hey,
no,
we draw the line when it comes to buying.
Listen, I'm not saying that Lakers lost this game. I'm not saying Lakers lost this game more than the Bulls won. The Bulls actually won this game. Like they blew us out. Like they actually deserve to win by far. Like it was not in question. But I say like the Bulls are never going to have this career night. Like everyone was amazing. You watch the game.
Yes,
no one is going to shoot like this. How can you shoot 70% from the field like in the entire game? Like how is that possible?
You have not been very, very much following Kobe White. He has been by far the star of that team since the beginning of.
But 70%. How many points did he have? 36 points. Okay, not bad.
I'm not gonna show Kobe White. He's been outstanding.
66.7% from three. 66 from three.
But listen,
66%.
I'm not gonna be like you. I'm not gonna be like you and cheat on a team like the Lakers because I know they can do better. Right?
Listen.
That they can play better. But
wait
a minute. I'll tell you this. The Lakers they still have the problem you've been worried about form.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. Hold on.
So
I have a lot to talk about from the Lakers standpoint. But just to find summarize on the Bulls standpoint, right? Buzelis made 5 3-pointers. Kobe White made 6 3-pointers. Patrick Williams made 4 3-pointers. Vucevic made 2 of his 3. Now if Vucevic is making 3-pointers, then like there's not so much you can do. It's like leaving Rudy Gobert open. It's like leaving Rudy Gobert.
Listen, I can't allow you to do that because people will stop watching this. Just so you know, just a quick steal here. Vucevic has been the most 3-point shooter big in the league for the past 2 years, over 39%. So you can't put a number on him. He is a shooter, like not even a big. He's a shooter. Everybody knows that. So if he had 8 3-pointers, I wouldn't be surprised, given how the Lakers play. Anyways, I'm not gonna get in. I will leave that part to you.
Yeah, but the Chicago Bulls, we have a game against them next Thursday, and it's going to be at their home. So that's a game to really get our revenge. But even if we lose against the Bulls next week, it's not the team I'm worried about. The Bulls. It's actually more of the Lakers that I'm going to explain. But they shot the ball well. They pounced on our turnovers. So that's the next point. But before I come to the Lakers, once again, Lakers need to understand that every team that plays against the Lakers is going to want to come and like have their career night. That's the problem with teams like Lakers and Knicks and Celtics, especially the Celtics are the defending champions.
You did mention the Warriors
and Lakers.
Who have been a dynasty
every single team, whether the game is on national TV, whether it's a normal random game, every single team, especially the lower ranked teams, they really want to like beat the Lakers so much. So you're looking at a matchup of Lakers versus Bulls. You have like a 90% odds of winning Lakers, especially when you have all your big hitters back from injury. And you're like, this is an automatic win. So if you're a bettor, there is no way you're betting against the Bulls. Yeah, use all this crap that you like talking about, matchup. And I'll talk about the matchup because, bro, like, you saw like the Bulls. Everyone in the Bulls is taller than the Lakers. Everybody.
They actually have a really big surprise. They beat really big team.
I saw the coach and I was like, well, damn. Our tallest player is not even taller than these guys. Like everybody was taller than the Lakers, and it's going to bring me to the Lakers. But just to wrap up my point, if you look at a matchup of like Lakers Bulls, Lakers Hornets recently, Lakers Utah Jazz, you know, it's not just Lakers Utah Jazz because these Utah Jazz, at the end of the day, they're NBA players. You know, they're not having the wins that that you may be having, because for you have better assets, a better coach, better players. I mean, you have the greatest player of all time. You have probably one of the top 3 greatest players in the current generation right now in Luka. So they may not have the same wins or 40 plus wins, but you're not just playing against the Bulls. The Bulls now, they're actually coming to play, especially if you're on the road. There's really like no pressure, to win the game. If they're at home, maybe, but if they're on the road, there's it's like a free game, a free hit. So whether they win or lose the game, no disrespect to such teams, the Bulls, the Raptors, the Blazers, the Utah Jazz, the Spurs, really, since they lost to Wemby, they come not just like as a Bulls, they really come all in, and that's why I'm never surprised whenever we play against and lose against the Wizards. Matter of fact, I look more at what the Lakers have done than actually what Wizards are doing, because whenever such teams play against the Lakers, the Knicks, they really want to like play so well. So every team is giving you their best effort, their best players. People are targeting their injury returns to play against the Lakers. Someone is out for 2 weeks, and then he sees there's a Lakers game next weekend, and he intentionally misses the game on Friday just to play on that Sunday. Even when he's healthy on Friday. Teams like the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics. You talked about the Warriors. Yeah, so such teams, you're getting everyone's best. So Chicago Bulls, give them credit. I was not surprised with the way they shot the ball well, because I've seen this every single night. Every team we play against, whether big or small, they always give us their best. So it's really what we do. But it brings me on the Lakers. Compose yourself. Number one is the turnovers. The turnovers. Man, we turned the ball over for fun today. For fun. for fun. It was turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover. You're not gonna win a game like that. And listen, it's very easy for me. For example, if let's say fourth quarter we come back, Luka hits 4 threes, LeBron hits 5 threes, somehow we win the game. And because the first 3 quarters were awful. Hell, the whole game was awful. But if we still win this game, it's easy for me to come out and be like, I'm impressed because the Lakers fought back and all this crap, praise them. It's easy for you to say. But tonight, with the way we played, even if we win tonight, I'm coming and I'm saying, this was a fluke game. This was a fluke win. We weren't supposed to win this game. From the third quarter, the beginning of the third quarter, I knew we don't deserve to win this game. And even if we do win this game, it will be a fluke because we turned over the ball for fun. I mean, Luka, you're going to have to live with Luka's turnovers because Luka is going to, I don't know, go into a double team intentionally. And you can't blame him because you want him to score points. So you're going to have to live with at least 2 turnovers every game, because he's also dropping points. He was literally carrying us the whole game today. I mean, he tied his career high for 3-pointers, made 8 3-pointers. So you're going to have to live with the turnovers Luka has, really, and LeBron. But there was a time in the beginning of the season, LeBron was like the league leader in turnovers as well. He was having like 5 turnovers a game. I know he has cut down his turnovers, but the whole team today was turning over the ball so much. Austin Reeves, everybody was turning over the ball. And the problem is now with the way the Bulls were playing, like I said, it's pretty much like everyone shot 100% from the field. Like every single body, like they shot a career night. They turned the ball over on a 3. Like they turn the ball over, these guys go, they hit a 3, 6-point turnaround. Or, they return the ball again, they go hit another, they go layup, transition, bucket. They go out, kick it out, 3-pointer, bang, 10-point lead, 15-point lead, 13-point lead. So it was really close in the first half, I think there were like 16, what's it called? Score flips, what's it called? Like when the score flips from like you lead, then the team leads, you know that, right? And then there were like 8 times the score was tied, and like 16 times the score was like flipped between the 2 teams. It's really when the third quarter has killed us for the past 3 seasons. I don't know what they do in halftime. I don't know if they slack off, but the third quarter has really been killing us. I mean, we practically gave up 40 points in the third quarter. 40 points in the third quarter.
But again, can I just tell you something, right? I think I would rather, right now, I'd rather credit the defense of the Bulls, right? Because most of the time, these guys come in, and most of these big teams like Lakers, Celtics, blah, 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 Warriors, they expect these guys to just, they're just lottery teams. They're at the bottom of the league. But these guys come to play it's a job, right? They got to perform.
Yeah. And the NBA players.
That quarter in particular, right? Luka knows to go in that pick and roll. And usually it's either a rob and there is a 3 in the corner. But with the size of the Bulls, he couldn't, most of the turnovers were deflections from over the air. These guys will just jump and get the ball because they are so big. Right?
They're tall.
You talk about the third quarter. Usually, you look at these things in the first half, and you're like, okay, so they've been trapping our passes in the corner. What is the adjustment here? Okay, we gotta give a screen in that way, but they're still too big. That in that third quarter, what was supposed to be an adjustment actually turned into their favor because they want you doing that. They want you throwing it because they can go and get it. And the other thing I thought was that, they were covering Luka individually. They only threw double teams when it was somebody like Vucevic, and they will only show and go back, right? And if you don't have a guy, because in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, for a chunk of time now with Luka in the Lakers, your system has changed to put the ball in Luka's hands if things are not going well. When they double team him, move the ball and the ball move, right? But today he couldn't draw any double team. They were pretty much covering him individually. So that throws off the whole system of the team, right? And they tried to go to Austin Reeves. No disrespect to Austin Reeves, but I don't think he can go by anybody on that team, right? Apart from their big. who, by the way, he can stay in front of guards. But again, with the size of the Bulls, he leaves you to the help defender. They can cover the paint and also go back and contest the three. And frankly speaking, I don't think the Lakers are the best 3-point shooting team.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw how Luka tried to help us for like 15 points down. He shot back-to-back threes, but still it wouldn't get below 10 points. Still, it wouldn't. And Luka was the only one who was shooting the ball away from the 3-point line. And in the current NBA, with the way these guys are shooting from the 3-point line, you gotta, to come back from a game, you gotta make threes. We talk about how like in the NBA, if you're 20 points ahead, you don't really like nowadays you can't really be comfortable. It's because of 3-point shooting, because it's been introduced. Because you got 3 possessions in a row and you hit 3 threes, it's already an 11-point game. If it was 20 points, it's just 11 points, from 20, just in like 10 seconds of actual running time, So you can't hit threes, and Lakers is not a good three. How many times did Luka kick the ball out and Dorian Finney-Smith pump fakes and attacks and we missed the shot? Hachimura pump fakes and attacks the shot, we missed the shot. And
again,
like
it
every
comes back
single
to
time, it's like they're scared of shooting the three.
It's
but
the size.
It's listen, I'm not going to blame them really, because it's not fair, because we have never really been a good 3-point shooting team. I mean, look at all our times with AD, the in-season tournament we won. We attacked the paint and continuously dominated from the paint, and we really were like the lowest, like in the league, like out of the 30 teams, let alone the Western Conference, we like were the lowest in the league in shooting, attempting 3-point shots. It's really when JJ Redick has come that we're now shooting more threes. Now you're starting to see, now even Gabe Vincent is now shooting more threes. He's shooting like 3 threes a game, People are shooting more threes. Vando is shooting more threes. Sorry. Finney-Smith is shooting more threes. LeBron is shooting more threes. Really, when JJ Redick came. But we are never really the team that shoots threes. And so if Lakers are down 15, I mean, attacking for 2 points is not really going to cut it if you're down 20. You're pretty much trading buckets, especially with the word turning over the ball. And one more point I'm going to talk about. We need a big, which I'm going to talk about in detail. And also, missing free throws. Like, come on. Like, and ones, you got to get those, because, and one, you're getting a 3-point, you have a chance to get 3 points. Now, if you're missing those again and you're not even making your threes and you're missing at once, LeBron was missing his free throws. Gabe Vincent, really, they just fouled him, so he goes to a free throw line. He's not going to hit. The best he can do is hit 1 out of 2, Yeah, sometimes he gets both of them, but it's very rare. So also, when you're trying to come back from a game, you got to shoot threes, you got to make all your free throws. And turning over the ball is not going to cut it, You can take buckets.
3 points I want to mention before I give it to you to close it off on the Lakers, yeah? First, I am going to heavily criticize JJ Redick because I thought he had a lineup to match up with those guys. It's not like you don't have the matchup. I just thought he didn't exploit that. Maybe it wasn't necessary, but maybe it was. I thought if he went with the bigger guys, if he went with LeBron, Jackson Hayes,
Hachimura,
Dorian Finney-Smith, and instead of Reeves, you could throw in a Luka, right? And probably some like Cam Reddish. That lineup right there allows you to not only play inside, but it allows you to get rebounds. It allows you to get offensive rebounds.
That's how I've been winning the past since January,
right?
With our rotation of that.
That's something like I gotta criticize JJ because he wanted to stick with the system, which is Luka.
Yeah, exactly. We need starters, exactly. Since the old back.
If you gotta win games like these, you have to understand in-game adjustment. You see, this is what the game is calling for. You can't be traditional. You can't stay with the. I get it. Like rhythm is a thing. You gotta keep your guys the same. Consistency is great, but sometimes you gotta throw them off the hook. Be inconsistent once, because then the inconsistent is unpredictable, right? So I would criticize that on JJ Redick. The second point is, I thought your defense was very poor. All of you.
It was poor. Transition defense, rebounding defense, perimeter defense. It was also poor. All the passes of defense were poor.
Because people will sit down and here and say, yeah, we don't have a big, but you have Jackson Hayes. But Jackson Hayes cannot be at his best. He needs to be able to shoot. He needs to be able to defend. He needs to be able to score. He needs to be able to rebound. He needs to be able to do all of that. So I would criticize that on JJ Redick. The second point is, I thought your defense was very poor. All of you.
It was poor. Transition defense, rebounding defense,
if you guys are just giving up blow bys, because
Yeah,
then now he's gonna cover you and cover his man. But at least keep up with your man, and he's gonna help, not commit to your man because he's got another man to look cover, right? So
yeah.
your defense was, I don't care who you bring,
I
Reeves,
think I
everybody was
agree
there.
100%. JJ Redick is going to be more worried about the defense than the turnovers, offensive turnovers. The defense today was awful,
And
awful,
we have
awful.
talked about this for quite some time, where we say, look, you guys can play defense, but your defense is more scraping, it's more physical, it's more demanding, right? But now today you've got a Hachimura and LeBron who just came back from race.
Injury.
They're a little rusty, right? They don't have
Yeah,
they haven't got into the game rhythm where they can just run around and do that, right? So they had to figure out something like, again, I'm gonna bring it back to the coach. I think he should have done a better job of choosing lineups wisely. The last point that I want to point out is, I think you guys are in trouble when it comes to the way you choose to do your help defense.
oh what?
Luka is not the
Oh what?
strongest defender in front of guards.
Sorry, oh what?
I'm saying you guys are in trouble when it comes to like on ball defense, right? Because you and me, we know, we've watched the playoffs. Playoffs are all about matchup hunts, right? Shea is going to literally just be like, I want that one, bring that one,
Yeah, yeah,
and you know how Shea draws fouls. Even
yeah,
the slide touch is a foul.
yeah,
Now, let
absolutely.
me ask you a question. It's the first quarter. Bring me Luka. By the end of the first quarter, he has 3 fouls. How do you win that game?
Oh yeah, that is a good question because I want to have to bench him, and if you don't bench him, he's going to be blown by every time. He can't do anything. You're gonna tell him don't touch the guy, don't do nothing. So basically, you're playing 4 men on defense. If he has 3 fouls in the first quarter,
And somebody will say, "No, you're shitting on the Lakers." No, I'm not. I think Luka has improved defensively.
he has, he has absolutely.
The defense of the Lakers is it's a predicament of one's defense. If one cannot hold, you guys have the worst help defense ever.
It has to be a team defense. We have the best team defense, but the worst help defense. You know,
Exactly,
if
but
one
now
person
the
slightly.
playoffs, the way they are
If,
spaced out, you can't. It's very hard to play team
you
defense.
saw we played. You saw we played against the Nuggets, like that game that JJ already didn't sleep. That defense is going to win a championship. But with the defense today, you're probably not even going to get out of the first round against any team.
This is where I was going. That defense you played against the Nuggets, right? The playoffs are not like they're very demanding. It's not the same thing. The other team is not just gonna let you do something and get away with it because it's not a one game. Right? They're gonna find adjustment. Right?
Yeah.
Can I just say that if you guys cannot help, because again, help defense is team defense, but your first point attack must do their best to give a chance the other guys to help them. And I don't think you guys are doing that. Even Austin Reeves, who has been able to do that before, I don't know what's gotten into him. Maybe it's just one game. Maybe, And the last thing on this very thing, and this is a question for you. You tell me what you think. I don't know where I read this or heard this, but it just came to me. Don't you think it was wrong of JJ Redick, if he's not playing mind games, don't you think it was wrong of him to show the defense you're going to play on Denver, because now they can game plan for it?
Yeah, now people starting feeling absolutely. No. He had to win the game. I think he did the right call. I think you're taking a little bit out of it because JJ Redick is a really good coach, and he's going to come up with new defense schemes.
No, I'm just saying, like, you got, and maybe he's trying to, like, because some coaches will throw you off and they'll show you a game plan and you go in thinking that this is their game plan while they have some in their bag. But I'm just saying, if that's the game plan that you want to play on Denver in the playoffs, why show it in the regular season in the one game that you might as well lose?
That's a good point, because in the playoffs, like the way we beat Denver, you're going to beat them, but it's remember you have to win 4 games to beat Denver, you know? So they're going to watch film, they're going to know how to adjust. So which other defensive schemes can you come up with, you know? If it's the way we play today, I'm telling you, against any team, let alone forget OKC, any team like the Pelicans, even are going to
Trailblazers will beat you with that.
I'm telling you, any team. But listen, as you know, sometimes as a coach, you go into a game, right? And you have a defensive plan, you're picking your poison. For example, if I'm playing against the Warriors, I'm trying my best to guard Steph Curry and to guard all these weird shooters you guys have, and to leave Draymond Green open. But now if Draymond Green is shooting the threes now,
did you watch
now
the Toronto Raptors
disorganizes you. What?
The Toronto Raptors game.
Which one? Today?
No, it was I think yesterday, but one. Draymond Green had I think 6 of 8 from and their coach like he was talking to the coaches like, this is what you want to do, and the coach is like, keep shooting them, Dray, keep shooting them, and he showed them and it backfires. And I get it, you know, you gotta pick your poison and say, I'm willing to give up this for that.
Right?
But I don't. Well, with Denver, you guys were. I don't know. You know, you. They don't have any more shooters.
Yeah, Denver doesn't really have any 3-point shooting that much anymore because obviously with the trades and all that, and that's why we decided to crowd the paint and like crowd Jokic, triple team him, and leave the other guys to shoot, and they didn't make the shots. But in the Denver in the playoffs, you're going to succeed one game that. But if it was a playoffs second game, what if now the shooters are now like the role players now are making threes? That's exactly what happened today. I think Lakers tried to pick their poison, and then they realized that what. Kobe White, there was a part in the first quarter, he was absolutely amazing. He shot like 100%. And then there was a part around the second quarter when they actually he was quiet. But now who came up? Basil is now. Now he's also shooting threes. And now Josh Giddey is diming out assists. So my point is you're gonna have to come up with game plans and you're like, okay, you're going to look at the statistics, right? And you're like, okay, this guy shoots only 20% from the field. And that is what happened today. The lowest percentage shooters today, they were absolutely amazing today. So you can be like, okay, I can live with him shooting the 3. But now if he's shooting all these threes, you gotta guard him. And now when you guard him, you're exposing your middle. So it's really a dilemma to do, and it's really interesting how coaches figure it out, especially in a playoff. Now we play against the Bulls. If this, I'm not we will never play against the Bulls, obviously, in the playoffs because in the Eastern Conference, and they're never going to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. The NBA Finals. They're never going to reach NBA Finals. They can, but the chances are very low. But a team like the Bulls, now we probably this is the type of game you lose out of the 7 games, and then you bounce back the next other games, right? So if it's playoffs, I'm not really worried, but I'm really worried about how we played our defense today because we're getting blown by every time. And listen, really the past why we've been so good like recently is not because our defense has been outstandingly so good. We've been also very good on offense, you know. We've been very fluid. So even when we concede some points, they are really offset by how Luke has been amazing, by how LeBron has been amazing, by how Austin Reeves has been amazing. But when you turn over the ball, like how we turned the ball over, 21 turnovers today, we get 21 turnovers today. You're not really going to, you're like even adding them more points. And with how they were shooting today again, everything goes to how they shot the ball today. Now, they're not going to shoot the ball like this any other time we play against the Bulls. They're not going to have these career nights. But we are giving them more points, turning over the ball. So really, even if they scored points, really what we've been doing is that we go back on the other end and now LeBron gets points. You know, we were fluid in offense. But now with our turnovers, 21 turnovers today, you're not going to win a game today. If you win a game, it's because maybe the other team gifted you the game. But it brings me to my final point. Rob Pelinka, you gotta sign a big next summer in the offseason. You gotta sign a big. You see all those matchups that were in the paint, and it was Vucevic against like Gabe Vincent. That was an automatic bucket even before you saw the ball coming. You just see them pass the ball to the paint, low post, bucket. All the defensive rebounds. But we've lived with that. We've somehow figured it out. And I told you, I was really waiting for that one game where like they really exposed our paint. This is the game where like we needed we have exposed, like we really need a big, because the big we got, Alex Len, is absolutely useless. They're even waiving him because he's just getting paid for nothing. He's useless. He's very useless in the NBA. You know, so what if we signed a guy like Vucevic? Maybe, but we didn't sign any big. And the guys had 82 points in the paint. 82. And think about it, they dropped 146 points on us. 146. So that shows how our defense was terrible. I mean, there was a time in the fourth quarter when Lakers was like 13 points down, or like 15 points down, or like 17. And then like there was some rhythm. I mean, Gabe Vincent came in, hit back-to-back threes. So it was like about 17. And then LeBron turns the ball over one time. The ball goes out to bounds and turns it over another time. JJ was like, time out, get out of here. Call them, okay, I'm not in the bench. Because it was like back turnovers now. And those back-to-back turnovers, these guys were short. What happened in those back-to-back turnovers? Back-to-back three-pointers. Bang, bang. So now, instead of the rhythm, the momentum now to us, two straight turnovers from LeBron, now this guy shot 6 points. So like, JJ was like, time out, get out. But we really needed a big. So off-season, you gotta send the bigs. But we've said a lot about the Lakers, Larry. Let's move on to another team. Now, again, I'll summarize. We play against a team like the Bulls. JJ probably figures it out. So, and it's a 7-game series. That's why I say the NBA is like, it has that advantage because you can always come back. It's 7 games to win. It's 4 games. If it's NFL, you go home. You're in Cancun like after tonight. You know what I mean? In such sports. But this was really concerning, especially defensively. I mean, Luka Doncic was absolutely amazing today. He shot 8 threes. He was 55% from the field, 61% from 3, 34 points. It's been amazing but man, our defense, we need to get that together. But hey, let's move on to the Warriors, Larry, because we spent 36 minutes talking about the Lakers.
Yo, that's crazy.
The Warriors embarrassingly lost to the which team?
I actually don't think. I actually think it was.
What happened, Larry? What happened? We thought it was an automatic win. No step, no party, no what? What happened? Which excuses do you have for me today?
When I think about the Hawks with Trae Young.
Okay, now you're going to be like the Hawks are really good. We've been here before.
Listen, Malcolm. The truth of the point is that you cannot write off the Hawks. They are not the best team. They are the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. But I'm looking at them and I'm saying, well, the Hawks are looking good. But again, I'm not going to say that that's why we lost the game. I just thought we didn't with Steph going out, there is a lot of things because when he went out, you've got Jonathan Kuminga, who is pretty much like Jimmy Butler, not high 3-point shooting guy. Pretty much operates in the paint, needs a lot of space to be able to operate. And then when you have him with Jimmy Butler, there is a lot of things to figure out space-wise. And then you add in Draymond Green because you can't play without him. So your space becomes really, really crowded. So that is, I think, what was the reason, the ability not to have much space to operate for all those guys. Because Jonathan Kuminga, before he went down, he was shooting the 3 real well, that whenever he was on the floor, he could be on the floor with Draymond Green and Trayce Jackson Davis without a problem because they respected his 3. But now his 3 doesn't look like he used to anymore. And again, somebody just come off the injury. You're not going to say he's a young guy, 22 years old. They don't know. They haven't experienced it. It's his first long injury, right? But tonight, what happened versus the Hawks is that they were outplayed. Point, simple. They're on the road. The Hawks are at home. They were outplayed. And I'm not going to speak much on the Warriors because they were just outplayed. They played so hard defensively, but offensively, they were so bad that they didn't have anything going for them. But I'm also happy that they were not blown out. I'll point out that because when you are on the road and you don't have your star player who is pretty much your system, just like Luka, if Luka struggles, Lakers, they have a problem. No Steph, it's hard to generate offense, especially with new changes. But I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you know this number 1 pick from France, Risache? That's how they say it in English. I don't even know. Right?
The only top team players I know.
But he's the number 1 pick. So today they are playing and I'm watching and I'm like, yeah.
He's the number 1 pick. For which year?
from last year.
What's his name?
Research something.
Which team is he in?
Not researching the Hawks.
Oh,
Right. So, and I'm looking at him playing. I'm like, oh, I think the Warriors didn't do their homework. Like this kid can actually ball, and he's like 6'9". Yeah, 6'9", moving like Kevin Durant, shooting the three, rebounding, playing hard alongside Trae Young, and then they have this South Sudanese guy who can shoot the three, but he's also so big that he can play it big, like as a center. And I'm just looking at this team, I'm like, what the hell? Why is the Hawks the number 7 seed? Like they have so many good talents. But then again, coming back to the Warriors, they played really bad. I listened to Draymond and their coaches speaking. They were like, especially with where we are right now, it's the 6th seed, and it's really like this, like one loss
yeah.
or 2 losses.
You guys are basically tied with the Clippers because you guys have played one more game than the Clippers. So you're basically tied for the 6th seed.
So yeah, what happened is we were outplayed mostly because of the space. We didn't have as much spacing as we would need, and when you try to tackle the spacing, because they did take out Jimmy like in the second quarter and bring in Jonathan Kuminga on his own, and he scored 16 points in a couple minutes, right? So you start seeing that the problem actually present itself in front of you, but again, you can't tackle it mid game because you don't have Steph Curry, you don't have the space. It's gone. And the other thing is, it's very weird. The Warriors had not, they have not. I don't think they have. I think they just signed another guy on an actual contract, so they literally don't have as many guys as they should have. They only have like 2-way players, GD guys. I'm like, what the hell? Just go get somebody who can actually produce. But it's a first game on the road. They should have won the game because it's the Hawks. But also with the way the Hawks were playing at home, and I'm sure the Hawks will make so much noise in the playoffs, in the play-in, and eventually the playoffs, just like they've been doing for the past couple of years. The game war after the game, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch the game, but I was checking the box score because I thought Warriors would come back because it was against the Hawks. And then I checked like.
Me too.
I checked like the second quarter. I saw they were up like 17, like the Hawks. And I checked like third quarter, they're still up like 14. Then I checked the third quarter, they're still up like 11. Like every time I come back to see, I'm like, okay, the Hawks still look comfortable. Then again, I checked, they're still up 14. So like really until the whole game, like the next time I checked was the fourth quarter, they were up like 14. Then again, I checked, they were up 11. So I'm like, okay, I was waiting for you to come under 5 before I tune in, like under 5 points. But it looks like it was a comfortable game to them from what I see. And look at this. If the Warriors lose their next game and the Timberwolves win the next game, the Warriors are going to be the 8th seed. That's crazy.
About that. Do you know I wouldn't be mad?
Because you play the Thunder, okay. Yeah.
Or the Rockets, right? Either
yeah. Speaking of.
I'm like, wait a minute. That's not the worst.
Yeah. Trust me. Because trust me, bro. I feel like in the playoffs, bro, forget about all this ethical like BS. If you're going to play against the Rockets or the Thunder and you have to lose intentionally to play against the Rockets, bro, you gotta do it, bro. You gotta do it. Like, because that happened to us, like, recently, like, last year. We had a chance to be the Pelicans, but we were going to play the Nuggets or play the freaking Thunder. And then we won and play the Nuggets. So now check.
Yeah.
But listen, if you guys end 8th seed, you play 8th or 7th. If you guys lose that game, then you end the 8th seed. If you still win your next playing game, then you play the Thunder. If you guys win 7th or 8th playing game, then you be the 7th seed. Then you play the Rockets. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Warriors is that great anymore. But I wouldn't expect Rockets to beat Warriors. Like, hell, I would even pass them against the Thunder. But the Thunder are starting to get respect, you know.
But I'm sure we have had success with the Thunder, so I'm kind of scared because our style of playing, the way they play, kind of are different. So we will be more confident playing the Thunder than the Nuggets, because
absolutely
will always hunt you in the playoffs. But this is what I'm thinking. If I don't have to go through the Lakers, the Timberwolves, and the Nuggets in the
And the
first round,
Nuggets, you're good. Yeah.
I'm like, this is match made in heaven because again, I'm gonna play these teams when they have been banged up by the other teams, which gives me more like advantage and edge. The other thing I want to mention about the loss today is I think it is a blessing in disguise for the Warriors to lose tonight because I don't like how much we've been having success with Jimmy in the lineup. Because success sometimes can make you complacent that you are unbeatable. But these are like moments where you're like, oh, reality check. Where are
Yeah.
we? Where are we as a team, right? And now you get to see mistakes. And through those mistakes, you are able to gear up for the playoffs. I didn't like the fact that we're winning. I literally was praying that teams like when we played Denver, I told you we have a good chance. I said we're gonna win. Eventually, we lost regardless. And then like every team I just look forward like, can they give us a challenge? Can they make us make mistakes? Because the more success you have, the more overconfident you become, and the bad it becomes. So I do appreciate the loss. I don't want us to be losing like this though, but I do appreciate the loss from today. And tomorrow you can win again, and you can lose another one. That's
I
cool
agree.
because it helps you
I agree.
learn about the mistakes and flows.
I agree because remember, like in my last podcast, I say since you guys have like now about 13 games left, 14 games left, but the only teams that are above you both East and West in terms of record, you only have one game against the Lakers left, one game against the Nuggets left, one game against the Rockets left. So you may easily go 12-3 and think that you're really really good because you've ended up with like a good streak to end close out the season, and then you think that okay, yeah, and yet in reality you've just beaten like fairly easier teams than what it's going to be in the playoffs. In the playoffs, it's a different ball game. But hey, give the Hawks credit; they deserve to win. I see here they won by like 9 points. But if we just need to know if anybody but Curry can step up in the playoffs because we know Gary Payton is going to be injured in the playoffs. Can Podziemski step up? You know,
I'm not really betting my money.
what?
I'm looking at Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody. These are all champions. Well, Jimmy is not a champion, but the rest of those guys are champions regardless of their age. Like, regardless of not being because they have played in these big games, they have played in the finals. They might not have had the biggest moments, but they understand, they have seen it. So it helps with having like a squad that actually understand what it is, just confidence wise. But you're saying who can step up in the playoffs? I still bet
Podziemski.
on Jimmy. Like I don't care OKC, KFC, UFC, Jimmy in the
Jimmy is
playoffs.
the best player in the Warriors. I don't know why you rate him so highly. Like I think it's LeBron James.
It's because no, Malcolm. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, if you have watched teams play, you knew that every year, Kobe Bryant would do anything to win a championship. Whether he ends up in the second round, the third round, whether he ends up with a broken rib, broken leg, he'll do anything to get over the hump. And to me, Jimmy is the same thing. I don't think he is the only person I've seen that doesn't hunt any media attention at all. Like literally doesn't want stats. He will literally, even his days in Miami or in Philly, he will go on to just averaging 1 or 2 points. But then come playoffs, this man doesn't average below 20 or below 25. And you're like, how does he do that? So I still believe he still got it. I do believe he's still the same Jimmy playoff we've seen. And I'm willing to bet my money on him. If you can take away Steph Curry in the playoff game, I'm sure Jimmy Butler is going to respond. Now, this is where I have a problem. I think they will have to check the young guys. I've seen a little bit of overconfidence in the young guys. And there will come time in the playoffs where they'll be like, all of you stupid little guys, Take a back seat. It's time for the dog to go eat, right? And once they do that, right now they just let them roll. Let them make mistakes. Let them shoot threes when they want. Let them do all this crazy stuff. But I do think in the playoffs, it's gonna be a different game. It's gonna be a game where Jimmy says, I know what's at stake, and I'm not gonna pass the ball to you because now he's just been passing the ball for God's sake. I'm like, Jimmy, take the shot. It's open, man. Stop passing to these guys. But he wants to. But in the playoffs, I don't think it's gonna be the same story. Again,
Yeah, yeah. Listen. I guess there's only one way to find out about Jimmy by waiting for the playoffs. So we'll see when it comes to the playoffs. But I agree with you. Jimmy is that type of person who has actually always stepped up in the playoffs. I mean, they're paying him a lot of money. He's the highest
he
paid
better
player in
he
the
better
Warriors.
step up. He better step up. That's a lot of money.
So yeah, I mean, so I guess we'll see him step up. And we keep on saying the playoffs, guys, audience, because right now there's only 12 games left, and it's not really a building. It's really like we're looking ahead on what is going to happen in the playoffs. Because right now it's not really the loss or the win that really speaks a lot about you. It's what about the loss that's going to impact you in the playoffs. It's not that we lost against the Bulls, it's how we lost. It's more like how we lost today, and like the future like implications of this loss against the Bulls, not really the team and all that stuff, because by now you've already played at least 2 games with like a Western Conference team. Like this whole seedings and stuff are done, and at the end of the day, man, like all this seeding stuff, it doesn't matter. This home court advantage thing in the NBA is like, it's not really a big deal. And you talk about matchups. I mean, if I'm 8th seed and I'm playing against the Thunder, okay, not the Thunder this year, but the Thunder last year, I'd rather be 8th seed and play against the Thunder last year than be the 4th seed and play against the 3rd seed Denver Nuggets. It's really not. It doesn't really matter it's like the standings, and if you play at home, the game 7, or you may not even reach game 7 if you're not good enough. So matchups is very important. So we'll see. We'll get to see how Jimmy plays and how the Warriors play. But like I said, they probably have the easiest schedule out of the Timberwolves, Clippers, and Warriors. So they'll probably just about get the 6th seed and make the playoffs. But we'll see who the 3rd seed is, because that's who the 6th seed plays. It looks like the Rockets are really been on a streak now. Feels like now they may just about secure that 2nd seed. They have a couple of tricky games coming up. They have the Nuggets, they have the Lakers as well. So we'll see what it talks about them. But it's still interesting. It's very interesting to see this Western Conference, where each one ends at the final season, because it's really been very fluctuating in and out. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, a quick word on the March Madness. Are you going to be watching the March Madness? Are you going to be watching women's or men's basketball? Because there's a lot to look out for. I mean, personally, in men's, I only know Cooper Flag. Only. Only. And to be honest, I really don't watch March Madness for men anymore. I really since this whole injuries and Caitlin Clark started, I've only really been focusing on women's basketball, So, yeah, well, what are you looking forward most in this March Madness? And are you going to watch both men and women, or women more or men more?
It's tough, man. It's gonna be a lot of games because, I mean, again, it's not the same as it's not really into the playoffs, but I do think that I'll probably watch both. But in a way that I might not be able to catch like live games all the time, but be able to just follow highlights and see news all around. But I'm sure we're gonna try to cover everything we can. And again, the Sweet 16 is always everything. It's always good, man. It's good. It's March Madness again, but it's gonna be tough to cover everything. I'm still thinking about how I'm going. I think I'm just gonna try to like cover a bunch of games at the same time when the tournament is going far and farther.
Yeah, because right now it's round 1, and man, South Carolina beat a team by 60 points. Like, come on, what are we doing? Just forfeit the game even before you play it. People are winning by 50 points, by 60 points. Like, which kind of blowouts are these? So really, even me, I'm not really watching this whole Juju Watkins stuff until really when it's okay, now they're playing against, because we know UConn are definitely going to play against UCLA.
Yeah.
No, sorry, USC. USC, the one of Juju Watkins. In the in the Elite Eight. If they no, 'cause that's the prediction. But the thing about like women's basketball is like you can really predict like who's going to reach like their bracket, like how far they can go because of the rankings. These teams that are really good are really really good. I mean, LSU won today by like 40 points. South Carolina won by 60 points. UCLA won like by 40. So like it's really until like the Elite Eight and Final Four when I'll actually start watching the games in terms of women's basketball, because it's going to be really fun. I mean, UCLA has Lauren Betts, USC has Kiki Iriafen and Juju Watkins, who we are all looking forward to. UConn also has Paige Beckers, South Carolina defending champions, Felicia Wiley and all those guys, Paul Wiley and all those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see women's, especially because they've really been the talk of the town for the past 2 years with all these Caitlin injuries and all these Aliyah Bosons that have come through. But it doesn't mean don't watch the men's basketball, because I think obviously there are more viewers for the men's than the women's. It's just that the rank, like the development in women's has really increased so much. But in case you're a March Madness fan, we'll bring to you some recaps, especially from the Elite Eight onwards, and especially for the women's, because like I said, I'm not really going to watch the men's than the females, because I like the females basketball more. It's kind of more interesting, and that's why I don't really know any NBA player who's like from the drafts, except like the guy in Sixers and
Hey, our audience, I apologize for whatever that is going on right now. I don't even know what he's talking about, but
yeah,
listen, we will definitely try to watch all the games that we can and try to cover whatever we can, right? It's demanding a lot of work, because again, the NBA will still be going on. It's not like they will be on hold.
yeah.
So it's gonna be a little demanding. I might have to like get you to cover some of the games individually whenever you get the different time, because that
just send me the links, bro. Create like a link that's permanent for like a studio.
I will teach you how to do that. That way, it's easier for you to
teach me. Yes, I can cover, because especially the women's. Next week, I'm gonna be watching the women's basketball, and I'll cover it. Yeah, because you usually be working during the week.
Yeah, so I put my account in your laptop, and you can catch it, and then you can just go live right
your
away.
Your account restarted, man. It's not even there anymore. You need to send it.
I'll show you how. It's not that hard. I'll show you how. Yeah. But guys, March Madness, it's
called March Madness for a reason. It's mad really in March.
It's really mad. You can see the blowouts for the Lakers with a team that you wouldn't expect. You saw the Denver Nuggets did with the Warriors without Nicola. You saw the games that every game becomes so clutch, even before the clutch time.
Yeah,
so it's March Madness. It's mad. Tune in.
It's mad for reason. There's a lot of plot twists. I mean, you saw last year's game between UConn and Iowa. A movie screen or a blocking foul is enough to lose a game and get you knocked out. And especially the difference between a movie like a blocking foul and a charge, like kind of like an and one. It's really a very fine line. Like, no, it's not really a very fine line, but just moving your left leg a little bit out of the restricted zone can make it a blocking foul or an offensive foul.
Even what we call micro steps will become a travel, and it costs you a whole game, right? So, anyways, guys, tune in. It's March Madness. Let's get mad with basketball. Malcolm, it's been a blessing. It's been a great, great episode today. I'm glad you learned the lesson that teams are coming to play, teams are coming to beat, and instead some of our teams like the Lakers and the Warriors can get very complacent at times with their defense and offense at times too, and lose a game that was won. So guys, I hope he's educated now. Yeah, everybody, this was the game today. I am Claret. He is Malcolm. He should have said the name. Malcolm. I am going to say good night from this side.
Good night from me. It's going to bed. Bye. Don't forget to follow, to subscribe, and to like. Thank you guys again. Have a good night.